to the first ever Shonen Showtunes panel.
The inaugural.
My name is I am the creator, biological birth mother of Shonen Showtunes, and I will be your host and moderator for this evening. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for being here. It means a lot to me, so I appreciate every single one of you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Now, if you are not aware, this is how we are taking questions. There is a QR code on your playbills.
Oh yeah.
Check them out.
I'm gonna ask a question.
Check it out. There's other links on there too. You don't have to just ask a question. There's tons of info on there if you want to check it out. But yes, I will be going through the questions on here on my phone. This being said, this is a topic-based Q&A and discussion. So, ask you questions about theater here. If you have another question that has nothing to do with theater, keep it in your back pocket and visit these lovely people during their signings tomorrow. I'm sure they would love to have a chat with you.
Ask about holiday. Dang it! Oh, you literally are addressing my. Okay.
All right, my friends, if you would not mind introducing yourselves and also telling us your favorite musical or play.
Oh, wow, that's hard.
That is hard.
I'm Emily Neves. Gosh, favorite musical or play? It's so hard. I'm a big fan of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. But I don't know, it kind of depends on my mood.
My name's David Matranga. I'm gonna do favorite. My favorite play right now is a new play that I'm actually gonna get to do next spring called American. It's just highly relevant, amazing, beautiful words on a page. That anyway. That's my favorite play right now. Musical-wise, I'm a pretty big Sondheim fan. So I would go, Into the Woods, Sunday in the Park with George.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Justin Briner, Tony Award snubbed actor. I am the first and most recent cast member to be banned from performing the musical Cats. And my favorite musical is Little Shop of Horrors.
Nice. I would love to see you in that show.
Yeah.
Delightful.
God, you would be great.
I'll be Audrey. Hi, I'm Ricco Fajardo. Let me see, favorite musicale. I'm just thinking about my book, like what I have in my audition book. But I have a lot of Jason Robert Brown, a lot of JRB in there. Very complex. Every time you show it to your accompanist, they're like,
Great.
yeah, they're always filled with rage. And then, what's the one? I'm a Joe with just one name. Every night to date a different day.
Early Modern Millie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
What do you need with love? Yeah.
I think my
That's
favorite musical, forgot to say this, I'm gonna be very basic and say Les Mis.
Less miserables.
I don't care what anyone says.
Not more
Les Mis
miserables.
is the first show I ever saw.
I am less
on Broadway.
miserable.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
One name. As we go over the. Surely this can end well. Oh my God.
And if you wouldn't mind each going through your experience and training in theater.
Sure. I started acting in theater when I was about 11. And then I got into it in school and church. And then I started going to theater camps the summer that I turned 13. And then I started taking voice lessons around that time. And then I studied it in high school. And then I went to, the summer after my senior year, I went to the Broadway Theater Project and studied here, actually, in this city. And studied with Anne Reinking and Gwen Verdon, Ben Vereen, and Julie Andrews, and just a whole host of people. Felicia Rashad, but we don't talk about her anymore. And yeah, so I did that, and then I went to college at Texas State University in San Marcos. I started in the musical theater program, but then at the end of my freshman year, switched to BFA acting and studied straight theater. I still continued to sing and stuff like that, but I just wanted to get more of an acting focus. And then I guess I kept doing it after that, and then when I was about 24, I auditioned. I saw an open call in the paper for the Alley Theater in Houston, Texas, and I went, and I did a monologue from Miss Julie, and I got called back for A Christmas Carol. I did A Christmas Carol there, and then that summer they invited me to join the acting company. And I was in the acting company there for 7 years, basically doing theater full time. And yeah, I left there in 2014, and I've been doing theater elsewhere off and on ever since still, but just not full time, so.
That's so cool. I didn't know you were a company member.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah, my story is very similar. I first found acting in like 4th grade. I auditioned. My mom was teaching summer school, and she was like, "Well, I'm teaching summer school, and I'm not paying for childcare, so you guys are going to summer school." And she was like, "You can choose 3 classes you want to take." I chose drama, basketball, and cooking. My 4th grade self knew I still love those things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm all in.
I know.
I'm ready.
So anyway, I promise I won't start from 4th grade and move forward. But then so I kind of left at middle school and went into like instrumental music. I was a trombone player for a while, and then I found it. Yeah, piano. And then I found it again in high school, and I really started in musicals. I did, Anything Goes and Annie Get Your Gun in Oklahoma, and then went to college. Knew that I wanted to do this with my life and wanted to see if I could make a living doing it. So trained at Texas State, same school that Emily went to. And then I did the acting apprenticeship at Actors Theater of Louisville after that for a season for 10 months. So lived in Louisville, Kentucky, trained there, really cut my teeth there on what it was to work in regional theater. Then moved to New York, then I went back to school and got an MFA in acting.
Where?
At Yale.
Where though?
But it's interesting. I fell in love with musicals, and then I really kind of veered away from musicals, mostly because I don't know. I really started to get into the stories of more non-musical plays. So then I went hardcore in a different direction, training in Shakespeare and Ibsen and Chekhov, and we did modern classics, Arthur Miller and Eugene O'Neill, and that really, and then coming back, bringing that training into a musical like Next to Normal, or something where stories is always king for me. That's just what attracts me. So yeah, and then I've been working in the professional theater ever since then, off and on. Like I said, I'm gonna do a play at the Alley. That's where that play is gonna happen. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, I could go on, but we'll get there.
I'm loud.
Yeah, so I started out pretty young as well. My parents were doing community theater, dinner theater around the local Baltimore, Virginia, Maryland area since before I was born. I was conscripted in as when they needed some kid.
You got the kid roles.
I was the kid. And I found out I quite enjoyed being on stage and getting to do all that. So I followed that thread for a while. I went to a theater magnet school for high school where we all took it way, way too seriously.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I kept following that. I've been able to do musicals such as Bat Boy, Altar Boys, The Secret Garden, Avenue Q, of course. And, I've just been following it ever since. I regrettably haven't been on stage very much the past few years, but I still love it very much, and I try to keep up with it where I can.
Okay.
Let's see. I did my undergrad at University of California, Irvine, or in Orange County, focusing on musical theater. We got to go to New York for a while, which was fun. Did a satellite program out there. I remember we met one of the original people from Chorus Line, or she was our accompanist, this older lady, and she was playing on the keys, and I'm sure she's playing for all these young undergrads, there's 40 of us, just chock full of energy, and she's playing for us, and she's watching us dance. God, the dance classes, dance is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But she's hammering it out, and then we're I forgot her name sadly right now, but they were do you have any advice for these young, potential musical theater people? And she was when we made this show, and she's like, I mean, this woman was playing the heck out of these songs, and we were doing the that whole sequence. Dude, but she was like, when we made this show, her words are very specific, we needed the work. And like when she told us this story, we were all just rapt about like, oh my God, we have to honor this story. You have to honor my story. She's like, all right, 5, 6, 7. And so that was me in undergrad at UC Irvine, was dancing my butt off out there, and then came to Dallas, Texas, of all places, to go to SMU. I got offered a few different programs, and my acting teacher, Phil Thompson, was like, go to SMU, they'll kick your butt. And so I went to Dallas, Texas, and I studied classical theater. And yeah, I get the most recent musical theater things I did. I remember doing Hood, which was a Robin Hood musical we did at, it was over at the Dallas Theater Center. My buddy Austin, who played the Sheriff of Nottingham, went on to play Hamilton on Broadway. He's awesome. He actually he's a lot of these people. It's so fun, you guys, by the way. You work in musical theater because all these people just you know what I mean? Like everyone has such varied careers. I didn't even know until you were a company member at the Alley. It's crazy. What else? Hood. And then I did a thing over at Casa Mañana Theater in Fort Worth, where I played Mr. Darling / Captain Hook in Neverland, which is a really fun show. Anyway, yeah.
Rock on.
What has been your favorite recent, semi-recent theatrical experience as a patron?
Oh, seeing something like that. Well.
Right, semi.
So like,
emphasis on semi.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. It was virtual theater, but it was magnificent. I watched Heroes of the Fourth Turning by Will Arbery at Playwrights Horizons. They did a Zoom reading of this play, and it floored me. I mean, it was just mind-blowing. They did a great job. They were able to design the thing to where it really felt like these 5 actors were on a back porch together. I mean, it was amazing. Really interesting play about
probably the
best Zoom thing I've
theater
seen.
Went to this Zoom format for the
I
pandemic.
did a Zoom play during the pandemic.
It's like boxes. It's like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
But anyway,
this play
one transformed.
It's sort of like about the modern conservative movement, and it's these 4 former students from this very conservative Christian college, classics college, all meeting and getting back together. And it's, if you can read it, but if you can see it, do that instead.
What was it called again?
Heroes of the Fourth Turning by Will Arbery. It was nominated for a Pulitzer.
Dang.
Pulitzer? I don't know, I never know which one it is. But, so yeah, really good, really amazing.
Pulitzer.
Pulitzer?
I don't know.
I
I'm
think
just
it's
guessing.
Pulitzer. I think it is
I really
Pulitzer.
do.
I like to say that Liquid U to just be pretentious.
Yes,
It's
Pulitzer.
The
it's like,
Pulitzer.
you're not supposed to say
Pulitzer.
Homage. It's an homage.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Not homage.
Yeah, it's homage.
Really?
Yeah.
All these years, I'm like, an homage. I'm being fancy, needlessly fancy. Damn. All right.
Oh, Will Arbery actually is from Plano, incidentally. So
Whoa. Please represent.
makes sense.
Texas.
I have 2. The one was a play that premiered in Lower Manhattan that was then changed into a Netflix show. It's called In and of Itself. It's a one man show. This guy is he's like a magician. He's also he studied to be a card counter, like a poker, counting cards, sleight of hand, but. I have to there's nothing to there's no way to describe it except I'm sure it's still on Netflix. I would imagine that it is. Go watch it. It'll floor you. It was unbelievable.
It's beautiful.
The other one I saw at the Water Tower Theater in Addison, and I know this playwright. I've done a workshop of one of his plays, and I can't remember the name of that title right now. What, do you remember?
Shoot. Hand of God.
Hand to God.
Hand to God.
It was a great experience. It was a great cast.
Really great
high
production.
energy play. So yeah, those are the first two that came to mind.
For me, back I was at Anime NYC couple years ago or so. So I grew up in Maryland, like I said, so we would make frequent trips to Broadway every so often whenever we could. So I met my father when I was in town again. We went to see Beetlejuice. Nearly original cast, very soon before everything shut down, and now it is shut down. So that was pretty special.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool.
What a show.
I'm gonna go, Anime NYC, I'll be at in like November, and I was like, the first thing I thought of was like, I'm gonna go see Sleep No More.
Ooh, yeah.
Which I've seen this show, you guys. It's an immersive theater by Punch Drunk, beautiful company. I am so into this company. I've bought their books. They have like a whole pedagogical thing teaching kids. They have like kids classes of how to storytell. Y'all, like for any of you like teachers out there, check out Punch Drunk's book. I know this sounds like so, I don't know. I feel like I'm sharing something really strange and really niche here, but their storytelling is amazing. When you go to Sleep No More, it is in the McKittrick Hotel, which is a hotel that was going to be condemned in like Chelsea area of Manhattan. And you enter this building. I'm not going to spoil too much of it, but it's based off the story of Macbeth. We're not in a theater. Macbeth. And if we were to go as a group, all of us, they would split us up. We wouldn't see each other for the duration of the show. You proceed to explore this crazy huge hotel with all of this amazing like lights, sound, modern dance, imagery, like personal experiences where actors will rush up to you and hand you like all of a sudden a little paper that's like, you know, Duncan is dead, and you're like, what? Who are you? And you're wearing like a mask, you're not allowed to talk, right? It is incredible physical theater, and I'm a big mover, I love movement. It's literally the only show I would drop everything to go and audition for, which I have before. I didn't get a call back, but they do like Suzuki style theater and all that stuff.
Yeah, right.
But God, is it just a magical show. It's the kind of show that I'm like, I would like to make art like that.
Yeah.
If I could somehow make more of that would be crazy. But
Yeah.
the hard part about that is that the McKittrick, they built the show around the space.
Sure.
So there's like a blown out floor right here that they make the sky. So if you can imagine, they were demoing the freaking hotel. And so when you look up, you feel the air. You feel like that there's room there, right? God, I get goosebumps even thinking about it. It's just crazy. It's such a good show. So I'm gonna see it for this 6th time. Because it's different every time.
Right.
And when you finally reunite back at the bar, it's like, what did you see? Where were you? You're like, reunite with your comrades. You're like, what was that? I don't know, some nurse took me somewhere and started reading tarot. What? But apparently, and then you learn more about the character because they all have different like stuff. Like some of them like the nurse favors women. Hecate favors men. She stole me, and I was like, the lady in the red dress just tearing me through this like hotel. I'm like, where are we going?
So cool.
It's insane. Musical theater stuff. My partner was in Hamilton for a couple of years on Broadway, and so I got to hang out with a lot of the tour people around Metland and all that stuff. So Hamilton, I've seen so many times, but it's delightful to see different people do it every time there's a new cast. So yeah.
Cool. And what has been your favorite theatrical experience as a performer? Most memorable, however you want to take that.
That's very hard. I mean, my default answer, I said this in my panel the other night, but I did a production of Marie Antoinette by David Ajmi, and I played Marie. David was in it as well. And it was kind of just one of those artistic experiences where all of the pieces sort of came together. Everybody was cast perfectly, and like it was just, the energy in the room was incredible. The director is incredible. The design was incredible. It was just like, I get goosebumps thinking about it. That, and then I did a play. We started rehearsals February 24th of 2020, and it was the day before tech was starting, and the artistic director came into the room and was like, we have to shut it down. And so it kept getting postponed, and then we did it over Zoom in last June? I don't remember. But anyway, it's called Sensitive Guys, and it's a play by MJ Kaufman, and it is a story of 5 women, but women and men, like we all played. I played 3 characters. So we played like a survivors, a sexual assault survivor support group, and then we also played male members of a like male sensitivity training support group where like guys go to sort of unlearn misogyny. And then I also played a professor, a male professor, who it was the sponsor of the group. And it was just like another one of those instances where like there was magic in the room. We would start every rehearsal with Suzuki and LeBlanc and like viewpoints and stuff like that. And it was just like, we all just cohered into this like tight-knit group that it happens a lot in theater, but I've never had it happen like this. Like it was just magical. So anyway, and then we took it out of the room and did it virtually, and it was terrifying, and we were all very skeptical, but it worked. So
it's really hard for me to choose one that was the most impactful. I mean, I'll just say this, and then I'll just give one. But I think Emily just described an experience where everything came together. The cast was on the same page. Everybody was firing with the same cylinders, with the same intensity, with the same goal. The designers, costumes, lights, set, the director, the assistant director, the vocal, whatever it is, the whole team. To me, doing theater, musical theater, it's all theater to me, right? Doing it is such a feat of like lifting this story up and out and into a room where other people can listen to it and experience it. And it's a hard thing to do. And so there's a natural sort of bonding that happens and a community that happens. And not every time, I mean, I've been around the block and done enough professional theater now to know that sometimes it is just a job.
Yeah.
But that's those types of experiences are the ones that are impactful, and I've had a handful of those. I'll just say the last one, I did the play that I'm going to do at the Alley in February of 2022. I did the reading of at the Alley in the 2019 Alley All New Festival in January, right before, is that right? Yeah, right before the shutdown.
A year.
18 then.
No, it was
19.
Yeah.
Okay, right. And it was one of those experiences where a group of actors got up on a stage, read a play. We had rehearsed for a week, 10 days with the playwright. The playwright was involved. And an audience showed up and they were ready to hear this play, and it changed everyone's lives in a way. And it sounds dramatic to say that, but it does a little bit, a tiny bit. And people were ready to talk about it, and they had biases that came up, and they were confused and pissed off about certain stuff. And to me, it created a dialogue and a connection, and that's really that's what I'm here for. I mean, if I could do that every time, that's what I'd want to be a part of. So I would say the reading of that play, which now there's a lot of pressure on the actual production. I'm like, can we do it again?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yes, you can. Yeah. I saw it. It was amazing. It was amazing.
Follow these. Not necessarily a profound experience, but a really successful and fun one was when I was in Avenue Q. And we rented out the Broadway caliber puppets, we took puppetry workshops, and that was great because I like when performing on stage leads you to new skills and new sort of skill sets like that. It's still, it's just not your normal, what you'd expect. So I'm very gracious for that. We get to study under a very talented puppeteer, Jack Foraker, and I still think of wow, I remember learning that, years ago, and it sticks with me. So you never know where you're gonna find the next lesson.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was trying to think of like impressive, fun, cool roles, and I remember like, because it is a journey, and it's really cool when you're like, lead character and whatever. And I remember doing like outdoor theater, playing Romeo, and it's crazy. But the one outdoor theater, I love outdoor theater, by the way, you guys. If you ever make it out to American Players Theater at Spring Green, Wisconsin, I did an apprenticeship there and then a journeyship, and I almost didn't come back to Dallas because I was like, I'm gonna be a company member here because this is the best acting I've seen in my life. We did a production. I was there. I was guard 2, I think. So this is my favorite story. We're working on Hamlet, good old hamster. We're having a particularly good night where, as David was mentioning, things are just hitting it, things are on fire, like Emily's mentioning, that like kind of things, people are just in the pocket. And the timing's right, the breath is right, Shakespeare's language is coming off the page. People are like, we got like 2 intermissions, but people are like, we can't wait to get back in our seats. It's an incredible feeling. We get to the end of the play, it's notoriously hot, like that season. So it makes it all the more weird when final bit, we're having, it's just such a wonderful performance by Matt Schwader. He played Hamster. We were at the very end, he dies, sorry, spoilers, Hamlet dies. Anyway.
And everyone else dies too.
Whoa. Okay. Anyway.
Oh, that's a big spoiler.
That's a big spoiler, bro. Anyway, so he's dead. Hamlet's dead. Ro Body, wonderful gentleman. He's actually in a theater at Harlem right now doing a new show with my friend Will Power because theater just came back and he's kicking butt in his show. But Ro Body's there. He's playing Horatio. He's got Matt Schwader in his arms. He's like, now cracks a noble heart. He starts doing that beautiful monologue that Horatio has. And we're all sitting there. There's a 2-minute lighting cue for all of my designers out there that is slowly going during this monologue. They timed it out to make sure that it crescendoed and it's beautifully lit and it's like the light of God, and then all the fights come down and it's end of show. Anyway, as he's starting his monologue, he looks up and I just see Ro, and we know it. We've heard him do it time and time again. He kind of like, I hear him breathe, and literally I'm like guard 2. I'm there like this, paying homage to my king. Homage to my prince, and I'm there, and I hear him, and I know in the breath it's off. I'm like, something's different, and I look up, and it's effing snowing, y'all. Snow starts to come down, and have you ever seen snow? If you ever seen snowflakes strike hot lights, it is majestic.
It's snowing in Denmark.
12.
Yeah.
Dude, I get full goosebumps every time I think about this. And that monologue, you guys, because Hamlet, that's Shakespeare wrote for Hamlet and his son, so when he lost his child, he's like, right, putting all this story about loss, right, in this moment of losing someone, that feeling of loss, that you could drop a pin in that theater.
Oh, I bet.
And it was like, literally this woman was like sobbing quietly next to me, crying, listening to the monologue, and I'm there and I'm like, so I reach out and I take her hand, and we're all holding hands, 1,200 people, silent, watching this play. The snow starts coming down aggressively. No applause. When he finishes the monologue, everyone just kind of backs up, stands up, we bow, no, it's quiet. And everyone just leaves, thoughtful and the most philosophical, like, our hearts are full, dude. Like, we all leave looking at each other, tears in our eyes. It was like church. It felt like, it was like, that is my #1 theatrical experience that, like,
wow.
I left, like, we all went to the dressing room and we're just like, theater, bro.
It's why you keep coming back.
Yeah, it is like church.
And poor Matt's dead. He's like, what's happening? There's no applause.
I missed the beauty.
Yeah, literally.
My breath was
be
weird.
dead. You gotta be dead. Yeah, dude. It's moments like that where I'm like, yeah.
That's it,
Anyway.
man.
That's awesome.
All right, last question for me before we move to audience questions, and I'm again legally obligated to tie in anime. So, if you were to audition for any anime character that you have played with a song from your rep book, what would it be, and what character would you audition for?
That's a lot. Like, so we're auditioning for a character that we play.
Yes, but with a song.
With a song.
From your rep book.
From our rep book. Okay.
Yes.
Oh shoot! You should have given this to. Can I highlight it?
If you want, I think we can come back to it.
I barely have a rep book anymore, but
Mine's all
we'll
like
figure it out.
rock and pop songs.
Yeah.
Counts.
Okay.
That counts, absolutely. We can come back to it. We can always come back to it.
Oh
Okay.
man, I guess. How did you guys got anything?
I have nothing.
I mean, I would do a monologue from Hamlet to audition for Todoroki. Yes.
If you would rather do monologues too, that's
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll come up with a song too.
Oh man, that's hard, bro.
That's
hard.
real hard.
I feel like Jason Robert Brown though is what's the song? I'm not. I have to look it up.
Okay, I think I might have one. There's a beautiful song in a musical called Parade that I and my friends did over at Brown Trinity Rep, and I was shook to the core because I love the music from it, but I've never seen it. It's a gorgeous play, by the way, you guys. But it's called All the Wasted Time, and it's the song. Oh, it's a beautiful duet.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm not to spoil anything, but like, yeah, it's right before the end.
Yes.
Anyway, sorry, just no spoilers. But the main character has been in jail, about to get executed, and his wife comes in and has a little picnic, and they're having this sweet moment through the bars, and like, they've had a rough marriage, and he's like. All the wasted time, all the million hours, oh God, it's so beautiful. Now to put that with a character to audition with that.
For Mirio.
I have one.
No.
I would audition for Ryu Me today because I'm obsessed with her. Like every question, that's my answer. But I would sing "Crazy on You" by heart.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Any more before I move on? Any thoughts?
Do you know the song "Someone to Fall Back On"?
Yeah, that's in my book. That's my main song. Yeah,
It's a fierce song. It's so all over.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Someone to fall back on.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a beautiful song.
Yes. Anyway, I would sing that for something, just because I want to.
Because it's a good song. Yeah. I guess the hard part about this, guys, like when you audition for stuff, you usually try to like sort of tailor, the monologue or the song to the character.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what do you got?
Bertolt. I think I would audition for Bertolt with someone. To fall back
someone
on.
to fall back on. That's perfect.
Yes.
Tight. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's good. Sorry, we're all using our actor brains.
But I love that question because I was
That's
like,
great.
wait a minute.
Yeah, just so you know, the lyrics are, I'll never be a knight in armor with a sword in hand. Bertolt.
And he also says, I can't be what you need me to be or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's
I'll be your saint. I'm not.
Yeah, I know, right? It's terrible.
It's terrible. He's like, but I can be someone to fall back on.
I know.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. Sorry. Yeah, you got that was a great question.
That was
That's a great
We need
question.
to like prep for that one.
right?
I want to write a paper on that one.
That made my brain do jumping jacks in a way that it
Same.
hasn't in a while.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I
Yeah.
had to like squint my eye a little bit.
I know, I was like,
Wrap my head around.
yeah.
Anything from you, Justin? I just want to make sure.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
No, this is really hard. I think I go to the song "King of the World" from Songs for a New World.
All the GRP.
The lyrics lead me, I don't know, to like Hanako-kun, Mikhaila Hyakuya, someone who's had it all, and then tragedy befalls, and now they're dealing with picking up pieces.
Hanako-kun, yes. I love that.
That'd be crazy if we actually did have to audition with like songs.
Yeah.
I just had an audition recently. I don't know if you guys. Anyway, an audition with a little song snippet. I did Snake Eater from Metal Gear. Still in a dream, Snake Eater. Feasting on that tree frog. Anyway, that's deep cut. Anyway.
All right, moving on to questions from our wonderful audience.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
so much
Yes.
for your questions. If you could duet with anyone, scene or song, dead or alive, who would you
Oh my God, anyone?
I've always wanted to do a scene with David Tennant, a theater scene. With David
Oh my
Tennant.
God.
I don't care what it is. Yeah. I would like to be a Laertes to his Hamlet. All my dream roles lately are male roles, and I don't know what that's about. Like Henry V, like.
These are good. God, you guys got good questions.
I don't know if you guys ever heard of a series called Playing Shakespeare. It's by John Barton.
Yeah, I was just thinking of that.
There's a book, and there's also a series of videos. They're really hard to find, now. But,
I have them.
But you see...
I have all of them.
Do you?
I have all of them,
I'm
bro.
coming over
You got
next
it.
week.
John Barton. Yes.
But you see all of these young, like a young Ian McKellen.
Oh my
Young
God.
Patrick
and
Stewart.
Patrick
Oh my God.
Stewart.
Judi Dench.
Young Lawrence
Judi
Fishburne.
Dent.
Yeah.
Like, all
Judi
these
Dench.
like amazing, like mostly British actors, because they're better than we are.
Hands down.
I mean, they still care about words and and punctuation and stuff. So anyway,
Even the TV and film. Like,
not
you're
gonna
like,
go
oh,
on that rant.
yeah,
But
you're trained in theater. You can tell.
yeah, right. You understand operative words and context and things. No, there's some really great American actors as well. No, but so it would be like I would want to be like in that class with them, really, doing scenes from whatever with those people at that time, just to see what that would be like.
This is hard, but there are, especially over quarantine, I've been watching just a ton of media. My media diet, I've been engorged. So I'm thinking of actors who really stuck out to me the past couple of years, and it's folks like Walton Goggins, Anthony Starr, if you've watched The Boys.
Boys.
Carl Urban, now that we're there. Folks like that, people who would make me look really good. And might even a little bit of talent might rub off.
By osmosis.
I have to say one more that's compelling for me. I'm sorry. I would really want to do scenes or like a whole film or whatever with Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah.
Oh my god, great. That was a good one. That was a really good one.
That's a really good one.
So good. I've seen him on stage too, and I saw him at the Public in New York, and he's just that guy.
There's some of these actors, you guys, that are like so
special,
alive. Just
Yeah.
I guess I wanted to choose a musical one just for variety, but like one of my favorite musicals is just the music. The story could be adapted a bit better. But Jekyll and Hyde. I've listened to that soundtrack so much, and so whenever I hear Linda Eder sing, I want to do like a
Once
duet.
upon a dream. So sad.
This is the moment. I saw that when I was 13
No,
at
what
the
I'm
alley.
thinking, I want to be, what is it, where Hyde's rolling in, and she's like waiting for Jekyll, because Jekyll's supposed to be there, and she's like, I feel your fingers cold on my shoulders, your chilling touch as it runs down my spine. And it's like, oh, is this a happy thing? And they're like, it's because you don't know if it's Jekyll or Hyde, you just see the guy, and then all of a sudden he's like, I am the bad, and you're like, no! Get out of there! Anyway, but I would love to do a duet with Linda Eder. Just I want to be showered with that,
Oh
that
my gosh.
resonance.
Yeah.
I love that music too, man.
I love that
music
music
is
too.
epic.
But you're right, the book.
I want to change the story. Anyway, that's okay.
That show premiered at the Alley
It
Theater.
did.
in
I
Houston.
saw it.
Yeah, it was like sort of workshopped there on
Yep.
Broadway. Yeah.
They did it twice, actually. They did it in 1990 and then also in 93, and I saw it the second time
Oh, wow, I didn't
around.
know
Yeah.
Jekyll and Hyde.
So, with taking voice lessons, what have you found to be the most useful warm-ups and skills that you've learned in doing voiceover?
Oh man, that's
Gosh,
great. I mean,
tons.
there's such a huge overlap.
Yeah. I mean, like I said this earlier in an earlier panel, but that's how when I have to warm up for Airy, I do like operatic warm up to get the top of my range going. I mean, like it's the same little part of my vocal cord doing a slightly different thing, but yeah. Are you like specifically like what kinds of warm ups?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I start with lip trills, like start way up high. And then like once that feels a little better, go into like arpeggios. And then, I was a choir kid too, and so we did a lot of like do re mi fa sol la ti la ti do ti do re do ti la ti la so, like that kind of thing, and like do mi re fa mi so. Anyway, my Coke theorem made me stuff like that.
The biggest thing for me is breath. And so I can tell when, even in the booth, when I do a read and I wasn't really on my breath, or I was holding my breath in some way, or I didn't fully release it. So I like to try and do like breath-based warm-ups, like support, where just get my diaphragm going. And then lip trills are a good thing as well, because you're warming up the embouchure and like the muscularity of the face. I do a lot of like massaging of my face. The muscles here, what are these, the masseter muscles?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. You know, all that stuff. And then I will do like, you know, massaging of the lips up here, things with the tongue. Because, you know, when you're speaking in a booth, you know, you just don't want to get trapped by all of the stuff that's in the way of your voice coming out. So that's kind of what I do. And then if it is a character where I'm higher in my range, I'll do some of the trills and start high and come low. I do a lot of like break work where like my break in my singing voice is somewhere around like a G, and an F is just real powerhouse, high F. G like starts to be in my break, and so I will try to start up at like a B in a falsetto and move down and move over that break in a way where it doesn't sound too different. Anyway, those are the things I think about. Yeah.
Just all of that, y'all.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
You can't really reinvent the warm-up.
No, and it's tried and true for a reason, and yet you can tailor those exercises if you know you're going in for a specific role. Like if I know something's living at the bottom of my register, I'll warm down. Right. But yeah, that's all really great and works.
I mean, like for me, I try to put a lot of stuff together because I like to play piano and stuff, so I'll like play scales for myself, lip trills, for the passaggio, for the break, I like to go right over it's the like groan sound, it's not like, but rather than doing it like that, like, it's really good. I'll just go, and it gets me so warm, dude, where I can like crest over it, and I got little tricks, you know, straw breathing, all this kind of stuff, but the one that I really like is playing Sam Smith. Because like it's just like right up there in the stratosphere if I sing it, but it'll go back down low, it'll go back to chest voice. He's the artist that whenever I sing all this stuff, like I'll sing a song of his, I'm like, I feel good, I feel ready. So I'll play some Sam Smith.
If I have a really low, like raspy character that I'm gonna do, the best warm-up for that is I book it at a 10 a.m. session, I drink whiskey till about 3 a.m., smoke a cigar, and then go record. And dude, I kill.
I thought it was Chris Sabbath.
If you could gender bend any theatrical role for yourself,
oh my God.
what would your dream be?
I mean, I think about this all the time. Like, when I want to do a monologue, I want to do, you know, the St. Crispin Day speech from Henry V. Like, I want to play Hamlet so bad.
This is going to show the bias of theater. I mean,
yeah, totally.
You know, three guys in here,
I want to play
all the roles are
Mercutio.
written for us.
Yeah. Oh. Yes. Yeah. I would like to. Gosh, so many. I think Henry V is the big one. I think that I would be a fantastic Henry V. Yeah.
I saw a production of Julius Caesar at Brooklyn Academy of Music, BAM, in New York. And I've read that play like 4 or 5 times. I've auditioned for it a handful of times, twice I think. I've done scenes from it, meaning I know the play, right? And I walked into this theater, it was an all-female production, a British company. Again, they're British.
So good.
And dude, I've never seen that play until those women did that play. And I was like, I've seen this play now, I know what this play is. And I ostensibly, like I said, I knew the play before. Amazing. And it stopped being, it took place in a women's prison, so like guards brought you into your seats. But then, you know, and at first I was like, okay, this is gonna be heavy concept, but then that like fell away and it didn't matter, and it was Brutus and Antony, and so that's not really about, I'll pass and think of my own, what I would wanna do, but that just showed me like, it's the ferocity of the actors telling the story that matters. Who cares about gender? It doesn't even matter. You know?
I want to say we've talked a lot about doing like some scenes from Shakespeare, the two of us, where we're like I play Romeo and you play
I'm the nurse.
The nurse,
yeah.
but you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Where, like, we both swap genders.
That's the thing that's great about Shakespeare is like it doesn't matter. Just do the words, and if
Yeah.
you're doing them, then they're gonna be there. I mean, you know, yeah. I'm trying to think of. You guys got something?
Man, I want to sing something. There's some badass
Oh.
women songs that like. I was
That's-
just thinking, what? You got one?
I want to play Judas in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yes!
But
Like song-wise, you know what I mean? They could
Yeah.
like transpose it a little bit for me. That'd be nice.
you wouldn't have to transpose it to Judas for me. It's like-
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. Probably. Gosh.
Dude, I want to play. I want to play Eponine from Les Mis.
It would be so good.
Yes, get to open the second act with that song.
Oh.
Anyway, wait, is that Eponine?
I'll play Marius.
She's the on my own.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could be regular, like the. I feel your fingers. It's like a female Jekyll and Hyde. My shoulder.
That would be cool.
Gender's a construct.
Yeah, it's just.
It is.
Go ahead, Justin.
Well.
I really love Tennessee Williams.
Oh.
So you know I'm in love with like Blanche Dubois. I love.
I want to be your stand.
What's her name?
Born to play Stanley. Sorry.
I want to be your bitch.
The mother from Class
It's so
of
light.
I'll be Fishwife.
Sorry.
Oh my. What's the name of the mother from Glass Menagerie?
Amanda.
Amanda Wingfield.
Yeah,
Yep.
Amanda Wingfield.
And I read not to get too tangential, but I read a biography of an actor named Lorette Taylor, who I want to say originated the role on Broadway. And I'm very fascinated with the story that her performance was one of the most incredible, changing experiences for people in the audience, and there's just no record of the show. There's no tape, no way to know, except the words of the people who saw it.
Right?
That's cool.
So magical about theater. It's
Yeah.
like it's ephemeral.
Yeah. I think that's what's powerful about it in some way. It's there and it's powerful, and then it's just sort of.
Well, and no recording of it can ever do it justice. You cannot capture that energy in the room on film. Like, just doesn't. You can't do it. It's not possible. Sorry.
No, oh my God, please do not.
Go off.
You're only saying
go
true
off.
things. Please.
Yeah.
This is the platform for you to go on.
Thank
I love
you. Yeah, this is the panel for it.
Now, alternatively, regular dream roles, just that you could realistically go do right now.
Regular dream. Regular dream, not that.
I want to play regular TV.
Society.
Yeah.
I want to play Arcadna. It'll be years, I think, probably before I can, but
Is that the seagull?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to play Eddie Carbone in A View from the Bridge.
Ooh,
Yeah. Yeah, I've always wanted to play that one. There's so many.
I know.
I know you guys haven't seen Sleep No More, but like Mackers has a crazy track. He just does parkour and like all kinds of amazing, like the movement's just insane. You guys, it's beautiful. I'll work on
I'd
that
like to play
show.
Lady
I'll
M.
work
I
on
would
that
love to play Lady M. Yeah.
Go ahead, Justin.
show. Well,
Obviously, I want to play Rusty in Starlight Express. Obviously, let's bring it back. Come on.
All right. Did you face any sort of challenges transitioning from theater work to voiceover work?
No.
Nice.
Storytelling, you know.
yeah.
Oh, well, my plosives and consonants were a bit crisp.
Hang on, wait. Plosives. Damn it, it's like plosives. There we go. Plosives. That's my own pop filter. Make a little piece.
Plosives. Very- Yeah, plosive.
You know, my first like anime role I auditioned for, and I was doing a lot of professional theater at the time. As I hit the mic,
I'm a professional.
I know what I'm doing in front of a microphone.
I know.
I see.
You see?
But it was a lead role. I just fell into like kind of a lead role 2 season 50 episode thing. So my transition was like, all right, I've got this role. I feel confident in my acting ability, but I didn't feel necessarily confident in what it meant to be in front of a microphone. A lot of the stuff that I was doing was a little bit too filmic at the beginning. It was the opposite for me. I dialed way down, and I was playing. It was Orphan. He's a sorcerer, and he's chanting spells, and there's fights, and so I had to really, on the job, sort of go, all right, this isn't theater, like I'm not on stage doing this, and it's not film, but it needs to be bigger than what I'm doing, yet not so big that I blow out the mic or that it sounds like someone crazy in a booth, being insane. So I kind of learned, I went back and watched that recently because they did a reboot, and we're doing season 2 of the new sort of reboot. And I watched the first 6 episodes, and for me, I can hear myself learning that stuff. So that was kind of my transition, yeah.
It's pretty shocking, I think, how similar the skill sets are from stage to voiceover. And so much of what I learned, I was able to fall back on when I was getting started and didn't have much experience, especially musical theater. I just, not much more to say than that, but breath, diction, all of that is really serves you well when you get into the booth for the first time. The thing that I miss, and it's just, it's a difference, but there's no real cast connection. You get to celebrate your friend's work, but only after it's done.
Right.
Which is, it's just different.
It feels like a wonderful gift, by the way, because if Justin gets to record first and he just knocks it out of the park, I'm like, oh, thanks, bro. Because he's just, you know what I mean? Now and that's what it's in theater. Like if we're having an off night, we're probably all feeling that energy. Whatever that on
they're
stage.
gremlins.
Right. Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if David's in there, if Emily leaves, just a treasure for me. I'm like, oh, thank the gods. Or if I'm I gotta really set this scene up for them because I know who I'm working with, and I can hear their voice in response because you're in the vacuum.
Dude. Yeah. The latest episode of My Hero that's out came out today, I think, on Funimation. I recorded that after Patrick Sites, so there's some scenes between Todoroki and Endeavor, and so Patrick's voice comes in, and I'm like, yes. So anyway, sorry.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing we crave is I think the electricity that goes back and forth.
I will say that I do know I have some colleagues that I won't blow up their spot right now, but who are great stage actors who didn't really transition well to voiceover. We know those kind of actors too on film. Film actors that go and try to get up on a stage and it just doesn't sort of work, and it's so there. I think that happens too sometimes. It's not always easy to find yourself across all those different mediums.
All right. And to close us out, bringing in anime one more time, do you think any of the characters you voiced would have a favorite musical or play?
Any of the characters we voice. Any of the characters we voice have a favorite musical or play.
And what would it be?
Oh my gosh,
these are What? Did you just have a thought of one? Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Gosh, guys. I immediately start going down my list. Every time you ask one of these, Alexi, I'm like, okay, I crack open the book in my brain. I'm like, let's see. Gosh.
It's hard because I'm like, okay, let me choose an anime character, and then let me find what their favorite musical is.
Dude, I feel like Mirio would just be so into Hamilton.
I like the sort of way that you just delivered that, though. It's kind of like, he's gonna...
he would be like, he'd be watching it all the time. He'd have it in the room. You've seen it, Mirio. Why are you watching again? He's like, I'm not throwing away my shot. What he's doing, learning the choreography with Ari. He's like, this. Come on,
Dude, that musical's so fierce.
Yeah. Ari learns Lafayette's part.
Yes.
Yeah, I see that easily.
Yeah.
That's so hard.
I imagine in the world of My Hero that they've written some schlocky musical about All Might.
Guaranteed they have, guaranteed.
And much like I am a bad musical apologist, I think he would be as well for All Might! Exclamation point.
So, in the world of that, like they instead of casting a professional musical theater actor, they approach All Might, and because he's All Might, he's gonna do the role.
Yeah. And he has a song for every different kind of smash.
Yes.
That's the whole score. It's just different smash.
It's really more like an opera. It's a rock, it's a pop opera about All
Open and
Might.
closed in one day.
Yeah.
Because he destroyed the place accidentally.
I think that Todoroki would like the musical Next to Normal. There's the trauma bond.
Yeah. Ari would like You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
That's sweet. All Might.
I really want
Patter
Sabat
song.
to do a one-man show.
I do too.
I need him to do that.
I also want this panel to go on for 2 more hours. So, so much fun.
So glad to hear that.
Thank
you guys so much. Extra shout out to my friend Ricco for making this whole thing happen.
Go see All Might the musical. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you all so much for coming. Have a great night. Stay safe. Go visit these guys tomorrow. Give them your money.